Okay, guys, welcome. I wanted to come on and discuss some things that had been on my mind. Why is this chair so loud and creaky? Oh, great, my ring. Okay, so I wanted to talk about Hugh Hefner versus Bill Cosby, and I think that this is a very good discussion. To be honest with you, I haven't seen anyone else make this comparison, so I said, okay. Well, I guess I'll do it, and it could be a fresh new video. When you guys get in here, give this video a thumbs up so that I know that you're watching. Now, if you don't know Hugh Hefner, he is the owner, well, former owner, he passed away, of Playboy. And he had the Playboy Mansion, which there were a lot of crazy parties there, and it was notorious. Hi, Queen Bee in chat. Welcome, One Boardwalk Angel Forever. It was notorious, okay? Now, here's my thing. Hey, Queen Bee. Oh, hey, the real Aaron Collins, guys. Go subscribe to Aaron Collins. Show him some love. Like his videos. Watch his videos. Here's the thing when it comes to Hugh Hefner, right? Hugh Hefner did what he did, and in the eyes of the public, Hugh Hefner is seen as the man, and to some he's like a god, to some he is goals, to some he is a role model, right? And I just feel like had it been a black man who had all these women living in the house, like in R. Kelly, that it would have been a problem. But when Hugh Hefner does it, it's not a problem. When Hugh Hefner does it, he gets his own reality show. When Hugh Hefner does it, he gets to be doing all these interviews on all these major networks. Okay. If this had been a black man with all these young girls living in the house, they would have tried to make him look like a pervert one way or the other. And I think it is perverted. I don't care if they were of age. I don't care if they were 18. I don't care if they were 21. If I were any one of these young girls' mothers, I would not be comfortable that you are with a 79 or 80-year-old man. I don't feel comfortable at all about that. As a matter of fact, I think he was 80 by the time the show came on, with the bunnies, with the Holly Madison and the Bridget Marquette and the Kendra Wilkinson is her name. That's before she had married that baseball player, football player, basketball player, whatever he is that's messing around with trannies and getting bussy on the side. It's a whole nother video for a whole nother day. You would, Tracy, not Stacy. Oh, hey, Tracy. Hey. Welcome. You would never hear them praising a black man for having girls young enough to be his granddaughter living in the house. You just would never hear that. But there is one of the girls, her name was Holly Madison. She was one of Hugh Hefner's bunnies, and she was his #1 girlfriend. Now, she came out with a book, and I actually purchased the book because I was nosy, and I wanted to know what was happening in the mansion. And she talked about the stuff that was going on there and how there were these crazy parties and these orgies and there were drugs and blah, blah, blah. Now, one thing I don't like is that Holly tries to make it like she's a victim in life. Now, let me say this. Although I don't agree with these young girls living in Hugh's house, just because I would prefer to see women that young doing something else with their lives instead of being arm candy to somebody's grandpa or great-grandpa. But they were all of legal age. Now, by the time Holly had gotten to the mansion, Playboy had been at least 40, 50 years old. So we all know Hugh Hefner's reputation preceded him. Now, she tried to make it seem as if though she was a victim, and I'm like, a victim of what? Weren't you like 20 years old when you moved to the mansion? Okay. You know what time it is. Facts, they put this man on a pedestal, but ready to throw anyone else under the bus. Exactly. You get to this man's mansion, all right? You see a whole bunch of women living there. You know he's not the monogamous type. And I feel like Holly's problem is that she wanted to marry him, but he didn't want to marry her. And I'm not a player hater. Let me say this. I think Holly Madison is the best looking out of all his girlfriends that he's had over the years, including his wife, Crystal Hefner. She looks way better than her. She's the best looking one out of Kendra, out of Bridget, out of Crystal, Barbie Benton, all of them. She looks better than all of them. All of the girlfriends that he has had and wives, she looks better than all of them. Why he didn't want to marry her, I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe he married Crystal because he was faced with his own mortality, and she was literally the last girlfriend in the house, and he's like, well, since you're here and since I'm here, you know, I'm old-fashioned, we got to get married. Who knows? Maybe if Holly would have stuck it out, maybe he would have married her. I don't know. But to say that she is a victim in any way, shape, or form, Holly Madison, you are not a victim. You're a 20-year-old girl moving in with an 80-year-old man. What do you think that he wants from you? Do you think that he's going to let you live in his house for free? Of course he's not going to let you live in his house for free. You're going to have to sleep with him and entertain him with his other girlfriends. You know what time it is, all right? You want those bills paid. That's one thing I don't like, when women try to make themselves out to be victims. And some women are not victims. Some women have done certain things because they wanted the fame, because they wanted the fortune, all right? And now they're not so proud of the things that they have done. So they want to turn around and make themselves a victim. You're not a victim. If Hugh Hefner was broke, would you have loved him? If he was Hugh Hefner the garbage man or Hugh Hefner the mailman, would you have loved him? Probably not, right? Now, and that's another thing. I don't want to say who she does or doesn't love. I personally don't think that she loved him. I think that as a young girl, she saw that she was with this man and he was able to provide her with a lifestyle that she wanted, and perhaps she was infatuated with him. But I don't think that she's a victim. I'm going to put a link to an interview that Kendra Wilkinson did where she talked about what it was like living in the mansion. And I believe not everything, but I believe some of the things that Kendra says. I believe that you're mad because Hugh Hefner didn't want to marry you. I believe that you're mad because you didn't have that baby by Hugh Hefner that you wanted. I believe that you're mad because you didn't get that editorial position at Playboy that you wanted. Okay, would you be a victim and writing all these books if he would have married you and given you a child and given you that position at Playboy? If anything, if it wasn't for Hugh Hefner, Holly Madison, nobody would know who you are. As soon as you left the mansion, you got your own reality show. You wrote a book. You married a millionaire. You became a millionaire in your own right. I really don't know what you're a victim of, to be honest with you. Everybody knew about Hugh Hefner's reputation. Guys, hit the like button, please. All right, let's participate and hit that like button. Everyone knew about Hugh Hefner's reputation. So what exactly are you a victim of, Holly? That's why the Me Too and the Time's Up movement is a double-edged sword. Women are making themselves victims when they low-key embarrass. There are some women who I do believe are embarrassed because of the things that they have done to propel their careers. That's why when people try to say, oh, you're this, you're that, I don't let that bother me because I have respect for myself and I understand that it will take time for my career to progress, okay? Because I'm not willing to do certain things for money or for acting roles, and I respect myself. But at the end of the day, you can't put a price on your self-respect, on your dignity. And I wish that someone would have told Holly Madison that. If I was Holly Madison's mom, okay, I don't know what her mom's name is. What's a good name for a white woman? Karen. Let's say her name is Karen, right? If I was Karen and my young 20-year-old daughter came home to me and told me that she is sleeping, openly sleeping with an 80-year-old man and multiple other women in the house, I would be very alarmed. I would be very alarmed. And I would go get my daughter up out of that house, okay? You're a victim. Where was your family? Do these women not have family? Like, there are just certain things I feel like you can't do. You can't do them because they shame your family, okay? I would never do something like that because I wouldn't want to be in a position like that. I only want to be with a man that truly wants to be with me and not make me like a piece of meat or arm candy. But you knew what time it was when you got with Hugh Hefner. You knew that. Okay? Even Kendra Wilkinson said in the interview, you went on these nice shopping sprees. You had allowances for thousands of dollars. Okay? You had private chefs. You had nice cars. You lived in a mansion. You traveled the world. He gave you nice clothes. You got to be on the reality show. What exactly are you a victim of? She complained that he put them on a curfew. Okay, so here's the thing, right? When you get with a man who's like that, he tends to be very controlling. In case no one told you, Holly, I'm sure you've learned this by now. So if you're living in this man's house and he's giving you money and paying for your cars and your private jets and your shopping sprees, do you think that he's really going to allow you to be with another man? Do you think that he is going to allow you to be in and out the mansion at all hours of the night? No, you have to be home by a certain time where he can keep an eye on you because that's not acceptable. She was being pimped. I try to wonder where their parents were. Like, whenever I see young girls like this in these positions, I'm like, do you not have any family members that care for you? But to allow you to be in this position, and I'm not trying to down on dating older men. I understand that sometimes younger women like older men. But when you're 20 and the man is 80 and has like 2, 3 other girlfriends, and who knows what other bunnies he was engaging in, do you really think that that's the kind of environment that you want to be in to grow with a man, to date properly so that you can get married and have children? I don't think that's a very healthy environment at all. Now, do I believe her when she said that there were drugs at the mansion? I do believe that. I believe that there were drugs at the mansion. I've, read stories about the Playboy Mansion. I don't know if they're true or not, but I personally believe that there were drugs at that Playboy Mansion. I do believe that. I've heard that he would throw very lavish dinner parties, but you better have yourself out there by 9:15 p.m. unless you intended to participate in the debauchery. This society is clearly being ran by corrupt demons. I'm still shocked that Bill Cosby is in jail, yet Cardi B has a career. I'm going to say something that's an unpopular opinion, but here it goes. Cardi B used to hang around hot boys, aka drug dealers, and if you choose to peddle poison to the community, particularly the black community, I really can't feel sorry for you. So when these men are like, oh, they got robbed. Okay. If she's out here robbing thugs, like, I feel nothing. If she's robbing these hot boys. We all know strippers like money and strippers like to hang around drug dealers, these hot boys. So I feel nothing, okay? Somebody should tell these men to get jobs and be honest members of society. That way they don't have to be around a Cardi B. This is how I feel about the stripper suing Kevin Hart for $60 million for claiming emotional distress. She also claims she's not an extortionist, yet she wants that much money. I mean, that's why a lot of women, when they come to my channel, some of them are upset. They're like, oh, you're a pick-me. I'm not a pick-me. I feel like as a woman, you know what kind of situation you're getting into. who doesn't know about the Playboy Mansion? Like, who really doesn't know, you know? I knew about that when I was a young girl. I knew about that as a teenager from like 13. Maybe even before then, because people kept talking about Hugh Hefner. You trying to tell me you go to the mansion? She said herself she saw an orgy going on, but she decided to move in. So you saw an orgy going on, you saw all these women in the house, you saw all these drugs, you saw all the crazy partying, and you decided to stay. 8 years in, you see he still doesn't want to marry you. And you know what really happened? Women tend to have a different mindset when they're pushing 30. So she was almost 30, right? She was almost 30, and a lot of women panic when they're not married by 30. So in her mind, she's like, oh my God, she feels like she was used, okay? She feels like she was used by Hugh Hefner, when in actuality, it was an exchange. You wanted his money, you wanted this lavish lifestyle, you wanted the fame, okay? He wanted to be with a young woman. He wants you to be on his arm for his image as the CEO of Playboy. It's an exchange, okay? I don't know what you're a victim of. Quite frankly, I don't think you're a victim of anything. And she, tries to make it like Hugh Hefner used her. Hugh Hefner never used you. Hugh Hefner never used you. If anything, Hugh Hefner helped you tremendously. I didn't know who you were before you were on that reality show. I'm not excusing Kevin Hart. He was wrong for doing that, but her claim is ridiculous. I hope the lawsuit gets dropped. Kevin Hart should have been at home with his wife being faithful. When you're not being faithful, these are the consequences. If someone automatically wants money for emotional distress, red flag. Well, sometimes if people are getting divorced, women's lawyers tend to ask for money for emotional distress. So it depends on the situation, but in this case of it being a stripper, I mean, meh. But this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Holly Madison claiming to be a victim. A victim of what? I have to talk about this on another day. If you have a young daughter, 19 and 20, and she's with an 80-year-old man, what do you think that is, No disrespect, but unless she was expecting Hef to have another 40 years alive and kicking, she was using him too. You're right, LOL exchange. Oh, hey, book boards, welcome. It's an exchange. That's what these women need to understand. So then she's also mad that there were other women living in the house. But it's like, Holly Madison, there were other women living in the house when you got there. When you got there, there were other women living in the house. Before you had moved in, everybody knew who Hugh Hefner threw these crazy parties at the mansion with numerous women and numerous young girls. What exactly were you a victim of, Holly? If anything, I feel like Hef was very generous with you. There was definitely a quid pro quo with Hefner. They got housing and lots of money, and he got what he needed from them. That's what I'm saying. She's okay, but she's trying to make it like he used her. Like he used her like she was arm candy and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, honey, it's an exchange. You were 20, he was 80. You know what time it is. You're moving into the mansion. You see all these other young girls here. And I would understand, right? Let's say, I don't know what year the Playboy magazine started, but let's say it was the first year and she didn't know about him. But this man had been like 40, 50 years in deep to owning Playboy. I think 50 years, as a matter of fact. Because I think Marilyn Monroe was also on the cover of Playboy. And you still moved in with this man? Come on now, Holly. You know what time it is. You know that man, you wasn't gonna settle down. That's almost like me getting with a man who has like a Stevie J, for example. Or no. Who is a man who has a whole bunch of kids? Shorty Low, God rest his soul. But Shorty Low had all these kids by all these women. That would be like me getting with him and then wanting him to settle down and be monogamous when the writing is on the wall that he is not a monogamous man. It's like, honey, either get with the program that's here or leave. Now she's trying to make it like, oh, he used her. Used you? Used you? He helped you. If you are serious about being in a monogamous relationship, you will be with somebody. Future has a lot of kids. How did I forget Future? How did that not come to mind? What was I thinking? Now, if you're serious about being in a monogamous relationship, you will seek a man who wants that. Like, for example, Idris Elba and Sabrina, he's older than her, all right? But nobody's gonna look at Idris Elba and this younger woman as like a sugar daddy, sugar baby thing, because she has her own career, she's successful in her own right, and he's older than her, but he's not like 60 years older than her. Hugh Hefner was 60 to 70 years older than these girls. Like, come on. Who else? Shamar Moore is with like this young 20-something-year-old. I don't know if these women don't have any friends or any family members that care about them to tell them. But it's like, honey, if you're getting with a man who's in this kind of situation, he's not going to settle down. He's not going to settle down. Don't do that to yourself. But back to what I was saying. If Hugh Hefner had been black, what he's doing wouldn't be cool. Okay? Feminists everywhere would be saying this is all kinds of sexist and whatnot. But when Hugh Hefner does it, he's the man. You know what? Hugh Hefner is very lucky that God called him home. He's very lucky, because with this whole Me Too movement, you don't know what was about to pop out of the woodworks. You got people speaking out now about things that happened in the 1960s, before even our parents were born. So Hugh Hefner is very lucky that, he went on to glory. The Lord's like, your name's about to be brought up into some nonsense. It's about that time. I'm going to end this video. I'm going to include the link when I post the video. This woman's a millionaire now, okay? The way I see it, I don't think that Hugh Hefner used her. It's just my personal opinion. But comment below and you let me know what you think. If you think Hugh Hefner used her, or if you think Hugh Hefner took advantage of any of these other young girls, like a Bridget Marquette and what's the other one's name? Kendra Wilkinson, and all these women. You let me know if you feel like Hugh Hefner took advantage of these women. I don't think that he did. I think it was an exchange. I think she knew what time it was. And then when he didn't want to marry her, she cried and made a book. All right. He may have went to the... Aaron, stop. I'm going to end this video, guys. Have a wonderful day. I will be uploading to Patreon this week, guys. I mean, I upload to Patreon every week, but just a heads up. Oh, Ahmad, I didn't forget about you. We're still going to promote the music.